Welcome back. Well, today we're looking at a topic. My wife and I were just sitting down having a coffee. And a lot of times I'll refer to myself as an activist or as an apostate. And she says, you got to look at this a little different. You're a good neighbor, because that's really what you are. That's what you're doing. And so I got thinking about that, and words do really matter. I think it's really important that we use the right words about ourselves. And when you think of what we're doing, it is a good neighbor. Wouldn't a good neighbor warn the other neighbors if the bridge was out, or if there was a problem, or if there was in the neighborhood, let's say a pedophile was running around the neighborhood, going door to door? Would a good neighbor want to alert the other neighbors to that? Absolutely. So I got thinking, we should really look at this a little bit more. And so I'm going to put up a screen here. Just my lighting is a little bit off there. And we're going to talk about good neighbors just a little bit here. Get to know your neighbors. Talk to them. In the course of your conversation, convey what is important to you. Invite them to convey what is important to them. How to be a good neighbor, being respectful, considerate, getting to know your neighbors, communicating openly with your neighbors. So when you think of going to the Kingdom Hall, would you not think that would be like you're meeting your good neighbors at the Kingdom Hall? Or another question is, we've seen the pictures about Jesus at the beginning. It's like he's coming into the Kingdom Hall and turning over the money tables. Would that be a good neighbor? You see, they would call him an apostate, but really, Jesus was a good neighbor. And not only did he expose the religions of his day to the fallacies and the corruptness of what they were doing, and he was very direct about exposing them. But he, on the other hand, he helped the needy. He helped the poor. He fed people, cured people of diseases. So he was a good neighbor. And in fact, he's the example that we look to as a good neighbor. So in my research here, I was looking. Good neighbors are considerate, tolerant, and they're tolerant and understanding of others and their different lifestyles. And good neighbors help build successful communities. Despite this, there are different behaviors that can cause problems for neighbors, and some are more serious than others. So what are 4 qualities that make a good neighbor? Well, here's some tips. Trust, being quiet, friendly, and respectful. So being respectful, kind, and extending a helping hand to those you live around, that goes a long ways with people. What sort of things can neighbors do to help each other? Well, neighbors can do little things like watching your house if you go on holidays, or taking a delivery if something arrives by post when you're not at home. I think these little favors are good ways for neighbors to help each other. What makes a good neighbor or a bad neighbor? Friendliness was the top factor for most respondents, 58%, along with keeping noise down, 54%, and controlling pets, 49%. And 1 in 3, 35%, thought being social and inviting others into your homes makes a good neighbor, while 34% thought that keeping to themselves is a key. So you see, folks, sometimes people don't want elders in their homes. They just want to live a private life. That's sometimes what being a good neighbor is really about. Now, good neighbors understand the importance of practical help and are always willing to lend a hand when they can, whether it's keeping an eye on the house when you're away, or shoveling snow from your driveway, or lending you a tool when you need it. They're always looking for ways to contribute. You see, being a good neighbor has nothing to do with preaching the Bible to people. In fact, religion is a very personal matter for most people. Now here's what examples of rude neighbors, and I think that's important. Now let's think about rude neighbors, and let's think about the Kingdom Hall, and let's think about this ExJw community that we're on. So we have good neighbors, rude neighbors. So, most annoying things neighbors do. Well, frequently they intrude on the privacy of others. So, we see that online. We see trolls come in, they intrude on the privacy of a chat line. Frequently intrude on the privacy of others. Well, elders will get right into the homes of people, right into their bedrooms, dictating what kind of sexual conduct they should and shouldn't have. It's all in their elders book. What about being loud or noisy? Well, the Kingdom Hall can be very loud or noisy. Going door to door and having someone knock on your door. Don't they get it? We're sleeping in. It's Saturday and it's not even noon yet and we want to sleep in. Well, JWs are out there at 9:30, 10 every morning knocking on doors. So that's loud and that's obtrusive and noisy to many neighbors. Refuse to pick up after their pets, park in the space that isn't theirs, leave children unsupervised, call the police on other neighbors, on another neighbor, leave notes on neighbors' doors instead of speaking face to face, and have loud sex. So that's rude neighbors, most annoying things to neighbors. So being a good neighbor, there's a lot of information on being a good neighbor. Now, I wanted to go a little further, and I wanted to see what the Bible had to say about being a good neighbor. Luke 10, it says, after this, the Lord appointed 72 others, sent them out ahead, 2 by 2, into every town. And he said to them, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord. And he says, go your way. Behold, I'm sending you out as lambs in midst of wolves. And here's the point, folks. Jesus says, carry no money bag, no knapsack, no sandals, and greet no one on the road. Whatever house you enter, first say, peace be with this house. And they would look after him. So it was good neighbors. They were looking for good neighbors. Jesus sent out 70. And he said, you don't have to bring anything with you. You're going to be looked after by good neighbors. And that was his service arrangement, really. This is how he did it. And they went out with nothing, and they were looked after by good neighbors. Now, 1 Corinthians 13, 1-13, I like that. That's one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. It says, if I speak in tongues and of men of angels and have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all the mysteries and all the knowledge, and if I have all the faith so as to remove mountains but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I've gained nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It's not arrogant or rude, and it does not insist on its own way, and it's not irritable or resentful. You see, folks, that's what love is. That's what being a good neighbor is. And when we think of the Kingdom Hall, it is resentful. If you don't agree or if you might not go along with things, people get resentful and it's irritable at times. But love is patient and kind, and it doesn't envy or boast. So it covers all things. John 3:16 talks about God loved the world. He gave his son that whoever believe in him would have eternal life. And Luke talks about, and behold, a lawyer stood up, put him to the test. Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And he said to him, what is written in the law? How do you read it? He answered, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. You see? So there it is. We have to love our neighbor. That's what part of being a good neighbor is. And the last one, Matthew 7:12, it's known as the Golden Rule. And it says there, so whatever you wish others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So think about your neighborhood. Every neighborhood's different. So we think about our neighbors in our neighborhood. Now, I think of our neighborhood online. We have an ExJw neighborhood for the most part, and that's what we cater to. So that's what I think about, and that's what I build my videos upon. And that's what I have the most knowledge about. So I like to come online and help out the neighborhood as a good neighbor. So when we look at all of this, that's really what we are. As we're not activists, we're not apostates. We're really just good neighbors. We'll see you later, folks. And until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now.